So in this video, we're going to show the different ways we can manipulate our guardrail civil cell that we've placed after we place it. So again, we have our 3D model, we have our roadway, we have a bridge template that we push down in a corridor. And we've placed our guardrail civil cell at the beginning on the left and right hand side of our bridge, and also at the exterior end of our bridge. But now we need to turn off some of our controls. So I'm going to first turn off our end condition in our mainline template. So I'm going to go ahead and apply a switch. I'm going to turn that off. So we turn that off in our mainline corridor. So in our corridor, I'm going to apply a parametric constraint to turn off our end condition. I'm going to do that before the bridge and after the bridge. And then we'll come in and make adjustments to our file. So I'm going to go to my corridors and edits. I'm going to do a parametric constraint. I will select on my corridor. And I'll find my parametric constraint. We're going to do the intersection to the left, and we'll do -1 and -1. And I don't want it to start, so I'm going to define where I want this to start and then where I want it to end and apply that parametric. So now we can have our end condition. Now I'm going to do that on the other side of the bridge as well, and we'll come back. So there I turned off my end condition on the left. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to do that same thing on the other side. Alright, so there I turned off my end condition before my bridge and after my bridge, and we placed our civil cell for our guardrail. So within the civil cell there is a linear template and some controls that we can make adjustments to our bridge on there. So now we need to tie in our end connection and make that match our roadway template that we have applied. So I'm going to go into my civil cell, and just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to turn off my construction elements, so my corridor templates, and I'm going to turn off constructions by the view attributes. So in each of the civil cells that we have, there is a construction element or control element that will control the width of the top portion of our civil cell. By default, they were 3'6" up here and out to 5 foot and 5 foot and back to 0. We can tie that back in, or we can make those adjustments in the civil cell after we place it. And to control that, we're going to adjust this control line. So we want this to be 10 feet out, and we can make that adjustment. It's going to put that out. We can also come in and look at our end if we want that to tie into our temp, and now they're going to tie in. So we can make those adjustments really quickly on the fly to match our design criteria. So if I just add that to 10, I'll take that out. And set this one back to 5 and adjust this side out to 10. That should take everything with it. And we can make those. So there's a couple different things off. Let's look at the civil cell. That can adjust that width of the landing. And if we need to adjust the slope of that as well, that can look at the slope and adjust the different elements in the civil cell. The 3D line style and the 2D line style can be controlled by this control element, or the guardrail right or left on either side. So all these are built the same, and they have this same or different controls. So maybe on this example we need to taper our guardrail. So I can click on the guardrail itself, the 2D line, and I can drag that out to the end, and that will drag my 3D line style. And then I can put, say, 2 feet that I want to drag that out to. So it's just a straight line. that we want to adjust. So I can do an offset at the end or an offset at the front. I can adjust that and taper that into whatever design criteria that I can build in. So maybe it's 3 foot to the, going to taper back out. The length of our guardrail. So if I select on the length of the guardrail again, I can look at the length. By default, it was set to 53 and 0.125 or 53 and an inch and a half. So I can make adjustments to the length if I need to fit my design criteria. So maybe I need 56 and a half. So I need to add another piece of guardrail in there. I can make that adjustment, and that will adjust the 2D. It'll also adjust the 3D. And if I need that another 6 feet or maybe 62, I can add that in, and we see both in our 2D and our 3D, it's going to make that adjustment. Come back and set this to 2, and make the adjustments to my civil cell to meet my design criteria. If I go over to the left-hand side, I can look at that again over there. We'll look at our 3D. We need to make some of our different adjustments. Look at those adjustments on this side too. So I'll click on my guardrail. We're going to need that to be -2 feet. We're going to just go in the opposite direction. And then I can look at this. I need these to be -10. And that adjusts that out. And then also look at that adjustment and make that adjustment and tie that into the guardrail. So there's going to tie into our guardrail. We need to make this. So if I need to come in and change the length, I can look at the length. I can also go to the properties of that and change the length of the offsets that I may have there. So if we add our spacing into our guardrail, and maybe we want this to be 65.5 or 62.5, we can make that longer, smaller, and it will create that line style or update the line style as well. Make it at 69 foot guardrail, and add that. It will give us our 2D and also the 3D geometry. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to take a look at our linear template. So I'm going to turn back on my construction elements. I'm going to take a look at my mainline corridor. I'm just going to look at that, and we can make adjustments to that linear template to match our fill lines that we have in there. So I'm going to look at the fill of our guardrail to see what we're going to put in there. So that's a 25% slope or 1 to 4. So I'm going to close that, cancel, and then if I look at my template, I'm going to go in and look at the template and make the adjustments into that template of the civil cell as we place it. So click down on here, we're going to look at our template. That is a 50% slope. So we want that to be -25. So it'll be the 1 to 4. I'm going to apply that and close, click OK. And that's going to adjust and make that. So I can do that on the other side as well. So I'm making adjustments to the civil cell after I place it to meet my design criteria. So if I look at the slope, I can look at that slope and adjust that to 25% or 1 to 4. Click apply, close, and it's just going to adjust that civil cell into my design criteria. So that's just a couple of different ways that we can adjust our design, our civil cells after we place them to match our design. We could just repeat that process on our guardrail above our, before our bridge. So I rotate that around, we can look to see how that's going to match our design criteria.